Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to look at the seventh house of the zodiac wheel. This is right opposite the ascendant. So we're here, we're halfway through. And this is also where we begin to move into the interpersonal houses as well, where we're dealing with other people. Now, the seventh house is where we're dealing with people on a one-to-one basis. It's where we find the descendant, which I'm going to come back to in a few moments. So with the seventh house, then, this is where opposites can attract because we're all different people. If you think about it, nobody's the same as another person. And although we could have some common ground, such as shared interests or shared opinions, for instance, but we do need to work on relationships. And it's the differences between us that can keep us fascinated in the other person or keep us interested or curious in the other person. But it's also those differences when we become committed to another person, it's those differences that bring us a balance because that other person can provide something which we don't have, and therefore it can make our life easier. And we can give that other person something they don't have, and therefore make their life easier. Now, the seventh house is naturally ruled by Libra and the planet Venus. So, Libra is an air sign. And the house takes on the traits of this, likes to be peaceful, fair, and equal. So this is how we want to be treated ourselves. It's how we then treat other people. It's also the start of romance, which I will come back to in a few moments as well. The seventh house is where we want to deal with conflicts using diplomacy and understanding and also love. And if we can, we try to avoid conflict, but of course, that's not always possible. And it's not generally something that we can do on a permanent basis. So we have to learn diplomacy, tact, compromise. Now, the seventh house is also an angular house, along with the first, the fourth, and the 10th. These are houses initiating action. The seventh house also lies at the start of the third quadrant. So this here is the third quadrant. Okay, now going into the descendant, and this is exact opposite of the ascendant. So this axis is quite an important one because the ascendant tells us about ourselves and how we want to express ourselves and our identity, whereas the descendant tells us what we're looking for in other people and what we're missing in ourselves because it's what we appreciate and respect of other people, often something that, as I say, is missing in ourselves. So it shows us what we look for in partners, companions, long-term relationships. It can teach us how to negotiate, compromise, and cooperate with other people so that we can live in a harmonious environment and in peace. So it's not just harmonious unions, though, it's also where we learn to commit to them, as I say. So it also deals with things like contracts, agreements, marriage as well. And it's where we have to work to keep a partnership flowing properly because you can't just sit back and allow a marriage to just continue. It's just going to fall apart. You have to work at it, whether it's a marriage or whether it's a commitment of living together, whether it's an engagement, whether it's a business partnership, whatever it is, you have to work at it. You have to put your part of that work into that partnership, and the other person has to do the same. to keep it flowing properly. So basically, the points found in the seventh house indicate how you conduct yourself within partnerships, whether it's friendship, business, marriage, or any other type of committed relationship, basically. Now, if you remember in the fifth house, this was where we were looking at the beginning of romance. We were having fun on the romantic side of things. So now when we get to the seventh house, this is where we are looking to make the partnership official. And we're looking for those things that would proclaim us as a couple. So we're looking for things like if it's an intimate partnership, we're looking for stuff like the love seat in the living room, or the double bed, or the king size bed, or we'll be looking for things that where we can have two names on the paperwork, for instance, and all these things. If it's a business partnership, then we'd be looking for something like shared office space, or we'd be looking for something like a business name where it involves the names of two people. And if you ever think about some of the companies that we know where they've got two names, you can see that that's what they've done there. So we're looking for things that proclaim us as a partnership, and it could be shared items that make our environment visually pleasing as well. Now, when it comes to the physical body, the seventh house deals with the lower back and also the lower torso. It's not quite the genitalia, but it's around that area because it deals with intimacy, with the partnership being intimate. It also deals with communication because this is an air house. So the third house, the seventh house, and the 11th house, they are ruled by air signs, and they deal with communication. With the seventh house, this is where communication is important in learning diplomacy, compromise, and peaceful negotiations. So it's basically a non-violent means of communicating your needs to another person. But at the same time, with the seventh house, because it deals with fairness and equality, we're also allowing the needs and opinions of other people to be expressed as well. We're giving other people space to also express themselves. And we're also seeing that although they may have a difference to ourselves, but we can see where that difference can actually benefit us and can actually balance ourselves and make life easier for us. Okay, so this is the seventh house then, where we learn to deal with another person on a one-to-one basis in a mutually compromised, negotiating and diplomatic method where we can benefit each other in a partnership and balance each other. If you think of Libra and the scales and think of balance, that's what we want in the seventh house. We want a balance. So we're prepared to work at that partnership, and we're prepared to compromise and negotiate and deal with that other person so that both of us get the benefit of the partnership. Okay, so if you have any questions, or if you have any comments whatsoever, just leave them in the comment section below. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. Any thoughts that you have as well, put them in the section below. Thank you for joining me, and I will catch you next time when we look at the 8th house, which is that one there. Okay, so that'll be on the next one, as I say. So take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.